community is concerned, as far as the outreach in the community, the preaching of the gospel, the helping of the homeless, feeding the poor, those kinds of things, the local churches are pretty much absent in the community. And again, it's no wonder. When your time is completely taken, your free time is completely taken up with meetings, it's just inevitable. It's natural. You're not going to have a lot of time for outreach. And in a sense, that's a good thing. I'm glad that they're tied up with their own meetings so that they don't have as much time to preach their false gospel. Very few of them actually go out. You know, the main outreach that they have is, like I was saying earlier, on the college campuses. That's really their main outreach. So anyway, you know, having said all that, it's easy to understand why family members and friends would be concerned for their, family member or friend who's in the local churches. Why are they spending so much time with this one group, multiple evenings a week, over, could be well over 10 hours every week with this group? And, again, that's very similar to the Jehovah's Witnesses. The Jehovah's Witnesses usually require, you go to at least like 5 meetings a week. And they're a cult, and the local churches are no different. The things that I mentioned, the prophesying meeting, the Lord's table meeting, the prayer meeting, the home meetings, the service group meeting, there are other meetings besides that they encourage you to go to. There are ministry meetings on Tuesday nights that are given from the full-time training in Anaheim that they encourage everyone to listen to. So they have meetings during the week just to listen to the full-time training in Anaheim. They also have conferences throughout the year, which are oftentimes on weekends and during holidays, when regular people would spend time with their immediate and extended family. They have their conferences and trainings on those times, mostly during holidays. They have also biannual trainings, which they require you to pay money to go to. They call it a donation, but really it's a fee. They can call it whatever they want, but it's a fee that you have to pay to go. And those biannual trainings, one of them is during Christmas, and then the other one is on the 4th of July, around the time of 4th of July. So again, both times when regular people would be with their families. After having said all these things, the prophesying meeting, the prayer meeting, the service group meeting, all these different home meetings, and then you have a bunch of conferences throughout the year, you got trainings throughout the year, and you got ministry meetings. It's just meeting upon meeting upon meeting where you get completely immersed. They strongly encourage you to come to all the meetings all the time. You're always being exhorted to come to so many meetings. And, again, this is a red flag. And this is not just for the local churches. This is for any group. It's a big red flag whenever a group consistently asks for abnormally large amounts of time from you. And that's a classic characteristic of a cult. They're time grabbers. They're body snatchers. That's just that's how it works. And the reason for that is because the teachings, for example, of Witness Lee are they're so obfuscated, they're so muddied and complicated and long and drawn out. They're so twisted and abnormal that it really does require a lot of time for people to sit and be indoctrinated and eventually get it. It doesn't come naturally because it's not according to nature. It's not according to God's simple yet profound truths. It's this strange, muddied, complicated, obfuscated teachings that Witness Lee made up. And because of that, again, it's really going to require a lot of time to get into. It's like trying to understand the Catholic theology or Mormon theology. Very twisted. Very, very twisted. And so regular, normal church service hours would not suffice to learn their stuff. It's going to take more time. It requires more time to get their stuff. More time to drink their Kool-Aid. basically. And it's very typical, it's very sad that the result of this is that basically, usually a separation begins to occur with the local church members from the non-local church member family members. So a lot of times what happens is, all these meetings that they're going to, all these trainings that they're going to, many of the members basically develop a tradition, a custom, a way of living, of going to so many meetings all the time, every week, that it's done to the neglect of their family members. And that's a big red flag. When you begin to get so immersed in a group that you just naturally begin to shun family members, to neglect them, to be negligent in your care for them, and to consider yourself more holy and superior to them, that you won't spend time with them, that you won't go to see them on the holidays, things like that. That's a big red flag. That's exactly what's happened to me. That's what happens to my wife and her family. That's what happened. That's what has happened to a lot of my friends in that group. And it's very concerning to the non-local church family members. Basically it results in feelings of distance, neglect, even sometimes just outright offense among the non-local church family members and friends. There's often a kind of a gap, a kind of a distance, a separation between the local church members and their family members and friends, even their Christian family members and Christian friends. And that is another red flag. When you're involved in a group, a so-called Christian group, that is going to cause you to neglect and be distant from even your Christian family members and your Christian friends, that's an even bigger red flag. And what's funny is that the local churches, I'm going to get into this in another video, but the local churches are always talking about oneness and the unity, the oneness of the Spirit, the oneness of the triune God, the oneness of the body of Christ, and how we need to keep the oneness. Basically, all of that is cult talk for you need to stay with us or you're a division. And that's exactly what Witness Lee teaches. He teaches that all other Christian groups are a division and that they're not right and that they're not on the proper ground to build the body of Christ and that only they are on the proper ground to build the body of Christ. So basically, you stay in that group, you're naturally going to develop an elitist theology. You'll basically have a superiority complex where you don't even want to spend that much time with your family members and friends because you've been indoctrinated and brainwashed that they're all wrong and only you and your group with Witness Lee are right. And that's exactly what has happened to so many families. I've seen it over and over and over again. And that's what happened to me and my family. That's what happened to my wife and her family. And, it's also similar to the Jehovah's Witnesses. They consider themselves, true believers in Jehovah, yet they have nothing to do with with other Christian groups. And, another thing is the local churches being time grabbers and being body snatchers, so to speak, is that, they're really against holidays, celebrating holidays. Now, I will say this, I'm not endorsing Christmas or Easter or having a Christmas tree or having Easter bunnies and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, me and my family really don't do that. We celebrate the birth of Christ, the resurrection of Christ all the time. But, during Christmas time, Easter time, Thanksgiving, things like that, those are very good times to visit family members, to love them, to talk with them, to see how they're doing, even to be able to minister to them in their situation. And but what the local church does is they set up meetings and conferences and trainings all throughout the year that they ask you to go to, where you can hardly make any family reunion, any family get together. And so they condemn having anything to do with Christmas. They even go so far as to condemn. Witness Lee has spoken against birthdays. They won't celebrate birthdays. Well, who does that sound like?